hope everyone had a great holiday and welcome to 2019. What's the best way to start off 2019? Talking about 2018, of course. So, in this series, we're going to talk about some of the best of Animals Amplified for 2018. I'm going to talk about some of the books I've read in 2018, and I might come up with a couple other videos to bring to you in the next coming months before we officially roll in to 2019 and all the things that it has in store. I read over 20 books in 2018, which is such a big deal for me because I haven't read since, let's see, when was my son born? 2011. I haven't read since 2011. But I'm really excited and I learned a lot and I want to share some of these books with you. So, let's read a book. Yeah, so the fact that I made it through over 20 books this year, both in print and Kindle books, is a pretty huge deal for me, and I have absolutely loved it. It's brought me whole new ideas, development, and thought processes, and I'm just really enjoying reading again. Now, I know that my 20-something books really pales in comparison to PewDiePie's 7,000 or something, 700 books that he's read. I don't know, my husband tells me about it. I don't watch him, but if you know how many he's read, comment below and let me know. My 21 is kind of minuscule, but I work 50 hours a week. I have my own business on the side. I have 2 kids under 10, a husband, 2 dogs, 3 cats, a tortoise, a turtle, and I'm kind of addicted to social media. This is a lot. This is like 2 books a month at least. So that's a lot for me, and let's talk about some of them. So first one is one of my favorites. This is called Wife for Life, and it is by Miss Ramona Zabriskie. Now, you will notice that my books are all over the place, but this one has totally changed my marriage, but also totally changed how I interact with every male and quite honestly every human on the planet. Ramona is all about giving the power to the reader of the book and how they can work to make their marriage better or their relationships better. Now, don't tell my bosses, but I have wife for life to my bosses on numerous occasions, and so it works splendidly even if you are not married. One of the other things that I love about Wife for Life is that she talks about these really fun personalities called the crazy ladies. Now, I have definitely succumbed to my fair share of crazy ladies. She talks about Irreleva, Betraya, Ashamedly, Stupidia, and Depressa, and I probably live in Irreleva most often. And Irreleva doesn't just haunt my husband. She haunts everyone, including the people that I work with. So like I said, this book is great, not only if you're married, but also if you just want to be a better person and learn how to get along with the people in your life a little bit better. So check it out, Wife for Life. Now, you know I love the Enneagram. So in addition to these 2 books, The Road Back to You by Ian Cron and The Path Between Us by Susan Stabile, I have read like 6 Enneagram books this year. So probably my number is more like 27 books, but I don't have them all here with me because I keep them at work. But the Enneagram is one of my favorite systems for learning about people. It allows you to have empathy and understand where other people are coming from and realize that, hey, guess what? Not everyone thinks like you do. And if someone doesn't think like you do, it's not because there's something wrong with them or they're crazy or they're wrong. It's just because they're different. And back to Wife for Life, one of the things that Ramona says all the time is that different is actually more than okay. Oftentimes we say like, I am different than that person, and that's okay. But instead, Ramona says, I am different, and that is a good thing. These 2 books actually inspired me to create the course that I offer on the Enneagram. So if you haven't checked the course out, there is a link in the description below. So check it out and figure out what number you are and start unlocking the secrets of the universe. I also read 2 books about conflict and conversation. So Conflict Without Casualties is one of them. I liked it. It's a little bit fluffy though, and some of the suggestions on how to handle some of these conflicts seem very unrealistic. I also read Crucial Conversations. Both of these I read in the ebook version on the Kindle app. And Crucial Conversations is hands down one of the hardest books I've ever read, but also one of the most impactful. It gives you a step-by-step guide on how to deal with difficult conversations and make them to where they're not even difficult. I have a Cliff Notes version for this, so if you want it, let me know and I will make sure that you get it. Then I have some fun animal books. So let's see here. I have The Truth About Animals, which is a really fun one. And I also have How to Be a Good Creature. I have also read Soul of an Octopus this year. And hands down, my favorite is What a Fish Knows. And there are lots of videos about What a Fish Knows in my book club videos. So if you want to know more about What a Fish Knows, check it out over there. The Soul of an Octopus and How to Be a Good Creature are both by Cy Montgomery. And she might be a little bit anthropomorphic and she might be a little animal obsessed, and so I love her. And one of the great passages that I like is right here. So she's talking about Christopher Hogwood, who was a giant pig that she adopted. And she says, "But unlike the case with my human family, the differences between Christopher and me, he a quadruped, me a biped, he having hooves, I lacking hooves entirely, and so on, would not trouble our relationship. He was a pig, and I loved him for it, just as I had loved Molly." Molly was a dog. "Not despite her being a dog, but because she was a dog. And as I would soon learn, Christopher would also, with great generosity, accept and perhaps forgive that I was only human." But I love this. I'm going to say it again. "He was a pig, and I loved him for it, just as I had loved Molly, not despite her being a dog, but because she was a dog." I love that because it goes back to this, where I love my husband even though we're different, but because we're different. And I love all the people that I work with, not even though we're different or not despite our differences, but because we're different. You can learn so much when you see things from that way. Speaking about learning so much, this is called The Truth About Animals, and there are some amazing facts in here, including how beavers got so famous for their testicles, so that's pretty fun. Lots of really fun information about sloths and when they were first discovered, their low metabolism, all sorts of fun animal facts in here. She has done her research hardcore, so check out The Truth About Animals. It's a really good one too. Now, because I'm building a business, I have lots and lots of business books. So I have The Business Boutique, I have Building a Story Brand, I have Disrupt Yourself, and I have Use Your Job. These are all great books for making yourself better, improving yourself, building a brand, building a business, anything that you might be working on that way. Use Your Job is really cool because it's actually a 90-day challenge and it's a workbook. So each day you have, gosh, things are falling out of it. Each day you have a task that you're supposed to do, and then you have to check it off. And it's really all about one of my favorite Christmas gifts that I got, which is this necklace. And in Morse code it says own your SHIT. And that's what these books are about. These books are about owning your shit and really taking control of that and running with it. So let's talk about Disrupt Yourself. Disrupt Yourself is kind of a painful book because it was probably the book that encouraged my co-manager, my best friend, my work wife, to actually leave and go do something else. In this book, she talks all about reaching the top of your curve and needing to find something else to do. So if we think about all of our experiences on an S-curve, it starts out kind of like we have to work really hard for not a lot of growth, and then we go up and things are just exploding. We're learning a lot. We're really enjoying. We feel like we're in the right place. And then when we get to the top of the curve, things slow down a little bit, and eventually they'll either become a plateau or just a sheer cliff drop off. And so it's really about pushing yourself outside of your boundaries and exploring something new and different. So disrupt yourself. So I had a little book club earlier in the year where I was encouraging people to read along with me, and we read What a Fish Knows and The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So if you want to watch those videos, there's a link in the description below, and you can check out the book club books. Okay, now on to the leadership and team building books that I've read. I have Roar, Building a Resilient Organization by San Diego Zoo Global. One of the things I really loved about Roar was they actually calculated the cost of having low resilience in your workplace. So resilience is all about people being able to bounce back from tough times. And if people can't bounce back, if they can't absorb feedback, if they can't have a bad day and grow from it, they're going to quit. This book actually walks you through a worksheet where you can actually calculate the resilience and calculate the cost that you might be losing to not have fully engaged employees or low resilience in your organization, which I really enjoy. It's a pretty good one. There's a few gems in there, but lots of it's common sense. 5 Voices is a really good one. It's another personality book. So talking about how to communicate effectively with everyone you lead. I read Coaching Habit. That is one of my favorite books. It literally changes the way you think about approaching coaching situations. I have a very strong advice monster. Maybe that's why I have a YouTube channel where I give people advice and tell people what to do. But I have a very strong advice monster, and the Coaching Habit really helps kind of tame that. I also read a book called The Dream Manager. And when I graduate into being an adult, I want to be a dream manager. These are people that literally help people make their dreams come true. And the book is a fictional one, but there are now real dream manager positions out there in large corporations. So if I'm ever missing, you know where I went and you know what I'm doing. So that's kind of it for the leadership books that I've read and the team building books that I've read. Now for the smattering of other books. So I read The Asshole Survival Guide and 10 Signs of a Leadership Crash, both which were kind of about dealing with difficult leaders or challenging leaders, and just being a leader too, making sure you're not being an a-hole and making sure you're not about to crash. Those were big things that I got out of those books. So those are fun ones. Again, 10 Signs of a Leadership Crash and The Asshole Survival Guide. The Asshole Survival Guide was not so much about owning your shit. It was just talking about a lot of jerks and how terrible it is to work for them and kind of commiserating in your pity party. Not one of the favorite ones that I read. I was really looking forward to it too, which was unfortunate. So that's it. That's all the 20-some books that I read this year. Please, tell me what books I should be reading in 2018. Comment below and let me know. And stay tuned for some of our other best of 2018 books that are coming at you soon.